Welcome back to another video, everyone. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to overcome your unwanted sexual desires. This is by far the biggest problem that men have. Dealing with temptation, dealing with urges seems to be something that a lot of guys get stuck up with. It's either they have to fight day in, day out to resist these temptations and push it away constantly, or it's something where they get these desires, they get these urges, and they just give into it straight away. Both of those lead to hopelessness. You are not in control in either scenario. So in this video, it is very important to understand how to actually deal with temptations, how to do it in a way that's non-combative and effortless so you can sustain that and eventually eliminate the desire from your heart. Let's dive in. And for those who are new to my channel, I'm Coach Josh, founder of Purpose Over Pleasure, and it is my purpose to help men overcome lust and their sexual vices so they can get closer to God and have a happier, more fulfilling life. So let's just dive into the main problem that I see all the time, because this is going to allow you to understand what's going on at a deeper level. I mentioned this earlier, but there's two things that guys do typically. One is that they fight the urge, they fight the desire itself, and they think that's what you're supposed to do, which makes sense because you don't want the desire, you don't want to give into it. But if you have to fight it and combat it to stay clean, one, you're using way too much willpower than you have to be. It's not fun. You dread getting urges, and it's just not sustainable. It actually doesn't even solve the root of the problem. Those types of guys who just fight and fight and fight and try to push it away, they think like if they get to a magic number of days, like if I hit 90 days, I'm going to be clean of this. Or if I go a month or 2 months or 3 months or a year, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be free. When it doesn't really work with that. Like you just can't create separation and call that freedom. You have to actually eliminate the desire in your heart. That is what real freedom looks like. With me, for sex workers, for example, I think that's disgusting. I think that's gross. I would never do that. It feels just criminal to think about, and you're going to get to the same spot, but you're not going to do it by fighting those desires. You don't change anything. So an analogy that I like to kind of prove this point, it's like the kid in the cookie jar, the kid dips his hand into the cookie jar and his mom comes over and smacks his hand, right? She says, no, you cannot have that cookie. It's going to make you fat. You're going to get overweight. You're going to get bad teeth. You're going to get cavities. You're going to get bad skin. Don't eat the cookie. Bad. Right? And the kid is going to be like, oh, okay, like I'm not doing that right now. And you might go away and be a little disappointed. Like, I wish I could have the cookie right now, but I guess I can't. And next thing you know, the mom's not looking. Maybe she's just not in the house or something like that. The kid's going to go into the cookie jar and take a bunch of cookies. Like the desire never changed. She was just waiting for a better opportunity. That's the exact same thing that's going on in your body when you're fighting these urges and resisting them. It's just like, all right, well, I guess I can't get it right now. And it leaves disappointed. It's like, man, I still want the cookie. I still want to go and act out. I still want to give into this. I'm just going to wait for a better opportunity. And then you don't have willpower one day, or there's a real pain in your life, like stress, boredom, loneliness, rejection, anything that's real painful. And there's going to wait for an opportunity like that to pounce and to be like, all right, let's go give into this now. So that is what we're trying not to do. I think half of this video is going to be telling you what not to do. I'll tell you what to do in a second, but I really need to make clear why this does not work. So the other thing that guys do is as soon as they get the trigger, they give into the temptation. For example, it might be, with pornography, or it might be with something a little bit more accessible, right? Like going on any websites. They might get the desire and they're like, all right, let's go do it, right? They don't really think about it. They try to just go straight into it. And that can be done just due to hopelessness. It can be due to just kind of giving up, being like, whatever, this is just how I am. This is just how life is. I'm just going to continue to give into these urges. And, that's less painful than trying to stop it. And it's pretty sad. That does happen. And that's when people are in a spot where they feel hopeless and they're not really committed to change. And it happens at people's kind of like all-time lows where that can be a constant. So in either scenario, like on either side of these spectrums, it doesn't matter where you're at on this entire thing, no matter how hard you try to stop or how little you try to resist, you need to understand how to actually deal with these temptations. So let me share my screen with you. I'm going to go and give you just a detailed presentation about how to actually overcome urges. And then from there, you'll have total clarity through and through on what to do and how to actually start to eliminate the desire in your heart so you no longer want to do these things anymore. Let's dive in. All right, so on this screen, I wrote down two things, right? So on one side, you have the body, you have the flesh, you have that very emotional, primitive side of you that wants to go and give into temptation. And on the other side, you have the mind, your intuition, your spirit that knows that acting out is bad, it's wrong, and you shouldn't do it because it leads to a better life, right? And these two things are at constant conflict. One side says, no, you shouldn't resist this urge. It's bad, right? And then there's another side of you like, yeah, well, it feels good, right? So there's this constant turmoil between these two sides, and it causes a lot of pain. There's a lot of pushback. There's a lot of resistance. Even though staying clean is the right thing to do, you still have a part of you that's like wanting to give into it. It's chaos. So what that is, it's cognitive dissonance. There's this like split mind, basically. There's an internal conflict with one side wanting to do something, and another side not wanting to do something, and they are, they're mutually exclusive. They can't have both, basically. So what happens is it's like you're basically going into this like internal tug of war between these two sides, where one side wins and the other side starts to push back a little bit. It's really frustrating to deal with this, and this is why a lot of guys stay stuck in the addictive cycle. This is why a lot of guys can't overcome urges, because they make common mistakes I'm about to show you. So a lot of guys, when they try to resist urges, is they listen to the mind, the spirit, and they say, well, this is wrong, this is bad, I shouldn't do it. And they try to convince themselves not to do it by telling themselves that. They'll say, oh, this is a sin, this is bad, this is going to hurt me. I'm going to lose money, I shouldn't spend money on this. It's going to be loss of time, I'm going to feel bad afterwards. All of that is true. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It all logically checks out. The problem is that it does not resonate with your body. Because your body, your flesh is like, okay, well, I still feel this way. It still desires to go and act out. It doesn't matter what you say. It's like, I still feel like I want this right now. So it didn't actually solve anything. If anything at all, it just makes it worse, because if you do go and act out, you're like, what am I doing? Like, I see how all this is going to hurt my life, and I do it anyways, right? And I don't want you to go through that pain. I've been through that pain too many times. So what you have to do is you have to find a way for your mind and for your body to understand each other and be able to communicate with each other effectively. Because right now, that is not happening. Your body does not resonate with your, convincing of trying to stay clean. And if you just try to fight it off and push it off, it doesn't change the desire. And actually, the body is winning in most cases because it's convincing you to go and act out through all these rationalizations. So you need to be able to have both of these work together and find a solution. So the way that you do that is not by having logical self-talk. Logical self-talk like this is bad, this is wrong, I shouldn't do it, does not work. You need to use emotional self-talk so you can be able to speak with this, the flesh, the body, which is an emotional thing. It does not understand logic like our mind does. So you need to use self-talk that is very, very emotional, because all your body cares about is if it can increase its status. For example, let's say you had a bad day, right? You're stressed out from work. It was pretty bad. And, you feel pretty lonely after work. You feel like you've lowered your status. You're not in a good spot. Your body knows that if it turns to pornography, if it turns to, going and looking at an escort website, and actually buying one, you're going to be able to raise your status. You'll have sex. You'll feel better. It's like it's an instant status hit. Obviously you feel bad after, and it even makes it a little bit worse, but you get what I'm saying. What we have to position staying clean as something that will raise your status in the long run, and is something that you really want and want to desire, because it's going to lead to a better life. It's going to lead to, all these benefits. If you can position staying clean as something that's going to raise your status more than, going and acting out right now, you're going to stay clean, and you're going to start to over time desire freedom. And it's a tricky process. You're not going to figure this out today just by watching this video. It's going to take trial and error of using self-talk and trying to find things that you resonate with to, have reasons to stay clean, basically. So emotional self-talk that can be effective is you can kind of chunk it down like this. You want to find like a reason to stay clean. So this is your reason X, right? And you want to figure out why reason X of staying clean is important to you. And then you want to figure out why that's important to you, right? And then this is important to you. You'll see what I mean in a second. So maybe you want to stay clean because you're going to be able to get into an intimate relationship if you do. You'll be able to improve your dating life and be able to actually find an attractive partner who you care about, who you love, and who you can be able to maybe start a family with one day. If you get clean, you're naturally going to get to that eventually, right? So then you ask yourself, okay, why is that important to me? Why is getting a relationship important to me? Okay, well, it's important to me because, there's a daughter of God that's out there that, wants to start a family one day and is looking for someone like me. And it's important because I'm going to be able to grow a family one day. I know that's what God wants to have in my life. I know I want to start a family. So, okay, why is a family important to you? And then you can chunk down on that even more. It's like, well, I feel like that's, what would give me a lot of fulfillment in life. I feel like it'll just be a great time in my life where I can be able to raise a kid, be able to start a family, be in a good position that way. I feel like that would give me a lot of fulfillment, right? So you're really chunking down on your why. So you can do this in many different ways. And this is kind of a bad example. Like you personally answering these questions is going to resonate a lot more than me just saying this. But you get to chunk down on it. You see what I'm saying? So you're developing these reasons, this form of self-talk to be able to stay clean. Now, the problem with some of this is what a lot of people do is they use self-talk like I just did, just how it is. They might just say, well, if I stay clean, I'll be able to start a family one day. But then their body is going to be like, well, why don't you just relapse one more time and then start a family? So it has to be something that is a recent benefit. It's something that you can achieve very, very, very soon. You need to decrease the amount of time delay that you can get to your desired outcome. If you can do that and position staying clean in that premise, you're really going to resonate with it. So maybe by getting over this urge that you're facing right now, you're not going to be able to get, the girlfriend instantly, but at least you're going to feel a lot better about yourself. If you stay clean from this urge right now today, you're going to raise your self-esteem. You're going to feel like you're doing what you said you would do in life. You start to grow some confidence that you can actually break out of this addiction and have a better life. Just from that alone, that can be momentum in your life, and that can carry over into a business. That can carry over into your career. That can carry over into a social life, right? That might be a small win that you can achieve pretty soon, but that can really build, right? So that's another way that you can use self-talk in a way that your body's going to really resonate with it. And it's going to view staying clean now as a worthy sacrifice. It's not like it's going to be something that's so far out that you don't really care about, or, you actually have a reason right now to stay clean that is going to drastically change the trajectory of your life. So that is one way to do it. There's multiple ways for this. I don't want to give you like a clear cut in stone, like this is what you have to do. This is one idea. Another idea is to talk about, the benefits you've been experiencing or have experienced in the past when you are clean, and talk about, how you're going to be able to achieve that again if you go on, break free from this. You can talk about your why. You can talk about, how transmuting this energy into your life is going to, completely change it. You can incorporate your faith as well. I think that's one of the best things to do, is incorporate faith. Like that is a great starting point at the very least. It will not be perfect, but it will be better than what you're doing right now, for sure. Another thing I want you to focus on is overcoming lies. This is a killer. Keep underlining this. This is huge. There's so many lies that are in your life right now that are causing you to go and act out. For example, I can name 3 top of my head. There are currently rationalizations that lead you to go and act out. One last time. No, this will be my last time. I'll never do it again, right? How many of guys, said that to yourselves before? Or, this is this is going to be fine. This won't hurt me, right? No, I'll be fine, right? Financially, this is not going to make a dent. I'm not going to get caught. I'm not going to get an STD. I'll be fine. Or, I'm just gonna go relapse with porn. There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally good, right? Like these are some rationalizations or examples of rationalizations that are very common. Or maybe you want a reward, or you want to deal with stress, or you want to be able to sleep better, so you have to be able to release this energy, right? There's so many different rationalizations that you have, and you need to be able to shoot stuff like that down. We'll come back to this. Another lie that the enemy uses to keep you stuck is any limiting beliefs. So with your limiting beliefs, they can just be like, well, I don't really think I can get a girlfriend. Or, well, I don't really think that I can, break free from this. I just don't think it's possible based off of everything in the past, based off of, when I tried to go and make an approach or put myself out there with women. I just don't think I can do it, right? Like those are limiting beliefs, using past failure as proof that you cannot do something, and it's keeping you stuck. You want this result, right? But there's a limiting belief in the way that's saying that you can't get there. So it's like, well, I want this, but I just can't get past this, right? That's what a limiting belief is, and you have to shoot that down. I'll show you how to do it in a second. Another one is any negative thoughts. These are huge. This can show up in many different ways, where it's real negative, dark things that you're saying to yourself. Maybe you're saying some terrible things to yourself, right? That can look like many different things. And it's tough. If you're beating yourself up, if you're too hard on yourself, if you're, just putting yourself down in different ways, that can really lower your self-esteem and keep you stuck. So all these things are lies, and you have to shoot these down, right? Because if you just let this go untouched, it's going to keep you stuck. You will not achieve freedom if you have these lies, and you cannot break free from this. You have to learn how to break free from the lies. So to do this, first, you have to find the lies. You have to become aware that they're popping up. If a lie happens and you hear a rationalization, a limiting belief, or negative thought, doesn't matter what it is or when you have it, you have to shoot it down. And first you have to understand, like, okay, that's not true. You have to call it out, right? You have to be aware that you just said a lie and it's harming you big time, so you have to call it out. So find the lie, call out. Call it out. And then from there, you're going to be able to find the truth. And that is the process to being able to overcome the rationalizations, overcome any of these lies that you're going to be tempted with. So you call it out. For example, let's say, oh, I deserve this. I had a great day at work, a great month. I deserve to go and act out with a campsite, right? Just call it out. Like, okay, that's not true. That's a lie. That's not bringing me closer to my goals. That's not true. And then find the truth. You can say, like, well, do I really want to reward myself with something that I know is bad and damaging to me? Or if the lie is, this will just be one last time, you can find the truth by saying, has it ever been one last time? You kind of get what I'm saying. Just call out the truth. Those are easy for the rationalizations. With the limiting beliefs and negative thoughts, that takes a little bit more work, man, to be able to find the truth of the situation. Sometimes trying to look at the situation objectively and trying to remove yourself, like just saying, like, okay, what is the reality of my situation right now? Okay, well, I don't think it's true that I can't get a girlfriend. I was able to have some success in the past. I just kind of got caught up in this issue. Now I'm not as confident. It doesn't mean I lost my ability to put myself out there or anything like that. Maybe just right now I need to work on myself a little bit. Like maybe that's a way to find the truth of the situation, but that can take work. It's going to take some resistance. You might have a full conviction behind it, but you still have to find the truth of the situation and give yourself hope. So these are two examples of how to have effective self-talk. Oh, this is way too zoomed out. Just to recap, you need to be able to use emotional self-talk to be able to get your body to view staying clean as something that's going to raise your status more than going and acting out right now. And if you can do that over time, the desire will start to leave your heart and you're going to want to stay clean. You're going to start to transmute that energy into other areas of your life. You're going to be able to have more success, and you're going to get into this positive feedback loop where you stay clean, you get better results in life, so you stay clean more, and you continue it. And then shoot down the lies that pop up, whether that be rationalizations, limiting beliefs, or negative thoughts. So basically, this is the process that I want you guys to start to focus on in your recovery. This is how you, in short, use self-talk. Now, disclaimer is this will not be perfect. This is going to sound forced when you first use it, and it's going to take some time to be able to develop this and have true conviction and meaning behind your words. But this is one of the most important steps to being able to overcome your temptations. This is how you do it. There's a clear step-by-step that you can start to do today if you have any temptations. Now, if you are serious about overcoming this and you realize that you do need extra help and you've been trying on your own, and it's a complete cycle of trying to get clean, resisting temptation, falling back into it, and you understand that you need a step-by-step process, you need guidance, and you need support from someone who has been there, then I want you to go down to the link below and apply for the Recovery Blueprint program and see if we're a good fit. We'll have a call, we'll hop on, talk about your situation, and yeah, just see how I can help you, man. Hopefully I can. But yeah, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget that call to action. But yeah, guys, stay strong, apply this information. Let me know in the comments if this is helpful or not, and peace.